everybody, it's Christina from Creations with Christina. Today I wanted to take two or a couple of my YouTube videos that I have that show you how to use various dies from other companies in your Cuttlebug and your Big Shot, and I thought I'd combine them into one video. So we're going to start off with the Big Shot, and I'm going to go through dies like Nestabilities, Sizzix, the smaller ones, the thicker ones, paper tray ink, and also how to emboss with embossing folders. So let's start off with the Big Shot, and then the second half of this video, or I'm sorry, we're going to start off with the Cuttlebug, and then the second half of the video will be the Big Shot. So this is the Cuttlebug. It does come in, there's a newer version of this one. Mine's fairly old. I've had it for quite a while. As a matter of fact, the tension isn't as good on it as it used to be when I first got it. So with this, it has these two little drawers that flip open, and that creates a suction that will actually keep your Cuttlebug stuck to the work surface, your work surface. Cuttlebugs come with a couple of different plates. Depends on the package that you get. Mine, when I purchased mine, it came with the A plate, the C plate, and I believe it was one B plate. And then I went and purchased another set of B plates, and then you could buy these. You could buy the B plates, and I think you could buy the C plates online as well. But the B plates you can buy at your local craft store like AC Moore, Michaels, and maybe Hobby Lobby. I'm not 100% sure on that. So let's get started. I thought I would start off with doing one of these Sizzix dies. Provo Craft, who makes the Cuttlebug, also has dies that are very similar to this, and it's going to be the same sandwich. These are called Sizzix. So for these, you're going to use your A plate, your B plate, your die, and then you're going to take your cardstock, and I'm using some paper tray ink cardstock because it's pretty thick, and then your B plate again. Okay, and that is our dies from Sizzix. This one has a little stitched edge around it. So, and these are the Sizzix Sizzlets, but Cuttlebug also makes their own version of this as well. So that is how you do those. The next die we're going to work on, we're going to use paper tray inks die, which are these Wafer steel rule dies. They're very thin. So with these, you're going to use your A plate, your B plate, then our pattern paper, and then our die with the blade side facing down, and then our C plate. Okay, and that's our cut for that one. The next die we're going to use are the Sizzix dies. This one's a clear one. They're very similar. There's two different sizes. There's the regular original Sizzix dies, and then there's the extra-large die. So this is considered an extra-large die. And with these, what you're going to use is you're not going to be using your A plate, which is the thicker white one. You're going to be using a B plate, your die, your cardstock, and then another B plate. So this one you're just going to use two B plates. And what I like about these clear dies is that they have a little hole where you could just pop out your image. So that is how to do the original and extra large Sizzix dies. Okay, so our next die we're going to be doing is our Nestabilities. And for these you're going to use your A plate, a B plate, your cardstock, your die, and then a C plate. Okay, now, one of the things people like to do with Nestabilities is they like to create an embossed edge, which is similar to this one right here. I don't know if you can see that embossing. So it has an embossed ridge. So how to do that is you're going to leave your circle attached to your die, and sometimes I have to actually use some washi tape to hold mine in place. The circle one seems to hold pretty good. So I'm going to keep that right attached to my Nestability. My plates, which we're going to be using, is the A. We're going to use B, our die with the embossed side face up, or the blade side face up. And then you can purchase rubber mats. I know that some people use plumber mats, which you can get at Lowe's. This happens to be a Spellbinders mat, so I'm going to be using that along with another B-plate. And then I'm going to take a couple sheets of cardstock, and I'm going to include those right inside there. Now I have 3 pieces of paper tray ink cardstock. Sometimes you need more, sometimes you need less. It depends on how much tension is how much tension your Cuttlebug has. So I have very little tension when it comes to having to do this. So that is how I have to do it. So let me just take this out and I'll show you what the embossing looks like. I probably could have used another piece because it doesn't, it embossed pretty good. So it depends on how many, how good the tension is how many pieces of extra cardstock you need to put on top of your plates. So the last thing we're going to do now is we're going to play with embossing folders. Provo Craft has their own for the Cuttlebug, as well as Sizzix has embossing folders. So we're going to, and I'm just going to take this one that's scrap here, and what you do with that is you take your embossing folder, open it up, take your die piece, or your piece of cardstock rather, just set it right inside, and then we're going to use our A plate for our Cuttlebug, a B plate, our die with the cardstock inside, or our embossing folder with the cardstock inside, and then another B plate. And that's how we create our embossed with our Cuttlebug. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and run all those dies now through the Big Shot, showing you the different sandwiches that you would use for cutting and embossing with the Big Shot. So the Big Shot comes with a multi-purpose platform, and this one I think is the older, this one I know there is the older version, but there is a newer version of this one. So basically it's like a book. It has different tabs, and depending on what you're working on is what tabs you're going to have open. So I'm going to go through all of those with you as we go through the different dies. And then you also have your 2 acrylic plates. And as you can tell, mine are well loved. This is the machine I use the most, like I said, because of the tension on my Cuttlebug. I use this one the best, or the most. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with our Sizzix Dies, which are just the Sizzix Sizzlets, and very similar to the Cuttlebug. And with these, we're going to use, you're going to open up your platform to tab 1. So tab 1 is going to be what feeds into your Big Shot. You're going to have your acrylic plate, your die, your cardstock, and then your other acrylic plate. And with this one, like you see, these popped out much easier than they did on my Cuttlebug because of the tension. But those are the Sizzix Dies. The next one we're going to be using are the Wafer Thin Dies, which are the paper tray ink dies. With that one, we're going to have our multi-purpose platform, all the tabs down. Our acrylic plate, our paper tray ink die, or any of these wafer thin dies, a piece of cardstock, our die, which I have the blade face down towards the cardstock, and then our other acrylic plate. And that is how to cut the wafer thin dies. Okay, the next dies we're going to work on are the Sizzix Extra-Large, or the Tim Holtz, or whatever version of these you have, or the originals. So with these, you're going to use an acrylic plate, the die, your cardstock, and another plate. And that's your cutout. Okay, next up are your nestabilities, and with these you're going to use your multi-purpose platform with your tabs all down, your acrylic plate, your cardstock with the die, with the blade facing towards the cardstock, and your other acrylic plate. Same thing for embossing. What you're going to do is you're going to leave your circle right inside the die, peel off the outer part, and for this one we're going to go with tab 1, our acrylic plate, our die with the blade face up, again using our little rubber mat, the acrylic plate, and I'm going to test because I'm not sure if I need to add a piece of cardstock to this one. Yeah, I could tell I have to add it because it's very loose. So I'm going to add, we're going to go with 2 pieces of cardstock. You might not even, some machines you don't even have to do it. It depends totally on the tension of your machine. And that's our embossed edge. Okay, next up we're going to do some embossing folders. This one's Cuttlebug, but there's also ones by Sizzix, and they all work the same way. So I'm going to use my platform with tab 1, my acrylic plate, I have my embossing folder, and we're going to stick a piece of cardstock in there. Put that down on the Big Shot, and then we're going to use the other clear plate, and then we're going to run that through. And then that's our embossed piece using the embossing folders. The one thing I really love about the Sizzix Big Shot is that the platform tells you exactly what these tabs are used for. So if you have this tab down, you would actually use this for when you're cutting your paper tray ink dies, your lawn fawn, or my favorite things, or your nestabilities. You would actually use that with this platform. And then if you flip this over, and it tells you here that you would use, and it gives you a little diagram of your die and your paper placement for doing stuff like your embossing folders and the embosslets. Those are the ones that cut and emboss at the same time. And then the last one is if you're doing textured plates. So that's what I really love about the Big Shot, is that this tells me, and I don't have to remember exactly what I have to do and what sandwich to use. So I hope you found this helpful. I'll leave links to the older videos that I've done in the past so you can check them out. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.